It was a moment that no one saw coming. A moment so raw, so real, and so profoundly moving that it brought seasoned royal watchers to tears. On what seemed like an ordinary royal occasion, Queen Mary of Denmark, poised, elegant, and ever so composed, let the world see a rare glimpse of her deepest emotions. The cameras caught it all. In a matter of seconds, this subtle but unforgettable gesture toward Queen Margrethe, Denmark's beloved former monarch, told a story more powerful than any royal decree or speech. This wasn't just a queen paying tribute. This was a daughter-in-law expressing gratitude to the woman who shaped her destiny. This was a moment of passing the torch, wrapped in respect, love, and deep symbolism. And the world stopped to watch. Queen Mary, known for her diplomatic grace and modern touch, stunned the crowd when she approached Queen Margrethe during the official celebration, a royal event filled with dignitaries, tradition, and history. As the cameras zoomed in, viewers noticed something unusual. Mary's eyes shimmered with emotion. Her hand reached out, not for a formal handshake or a polite nod, but for a tender touch. A subtle, loving gesture of connection. It was not part of protocol. It wasn't choreographed. It was real. What made this moment so extraordinary wasn't just what happened, but what it represented. For Queen Margrethe, who abdicated the throne after an extraordinary 52-year reign, this was a powerful acknowledgement of her lifetime of dedication. For Queen Mary, stepping into her role with steady grace, it was her way of saying, "I honor you. I carry your legacy." In a monarchy that balances ancient customs with modern transparency, this emotional gesture served as a bridge between the past and the future. Queen Mary has always walked a fine line, between her Australian roots and her Danish royal role, between being a commoner turned princess and now, a queen consort with real responsibilities. For 2 decades, she's built a reputation based on dedication, discretion, and authenticity. But never before had we seen such an open, public display of vulnerability from her. And perhaps that's what made it so captivating. Body language experts quickly weighed in. "This is not a rehearsed moment," said one royal analyst. Mary's hand on Queen Margrethe's arm was a gesture of reassurance, but also reverence. It speaks of deep respect, familial closeness, and emotional depth. This is the body language of a woman stepping into enormous shoes, while still acknowledging who wore them before her. As images of the moment spread across social media, Danish citizens reacted with a mix of admiration and sentimentality. "She's not just our queen," one woman tweeted, "she's our Mary. And this is why we love her." Another user posted, "Queen Margrethe raised the standard for duty and strength. Queen Mary is showing us that you can rule with heart." And heart, indeed, was at the center of this symbolic exchange. Insiders close to the palace revealed that Mary and Margrethe's relationship has evolved over the years from formal to familial. Initially cautious, Queen Margrethe reportedly admired Mary's resilience and adaptability, qualities that would later become defining traits of her queenship. But beyond titles and traditions, this moment captured something else: the intimate bond between 2 women navigating the weight of the crown from opposite ends of the journey. While Queen Margrethe was stepping back, Queen Mary was stepping forward. And in that tiny gesture, just a touch of the hand, there was a world of meaning. Many royal watchers noted that this could mark a new chapter in royal engagement. One that values authenticity as much as appearances. One where royal women, often typecast as silent symbols of tradition, are reclaiming their emotional agency. Because let's not forget, this was more than ceremonial. It was human, and for the Danish people, it was deeply reassuring. In a world of change, political unrest, and institutional skepticism, here was a monarchy demonstrating continuity and compassion. Here were 2 queens, one exiting and one arriving, connected by more than just protocol, but by purpose and mutual trust. And while Queen Margrethe maintained her famously dignified expression, her subtle nod and the softening in her eyes said everything. She was moved, just as we were. Royal historian Ingrid Blixen commented, "In Danish royal history, we've seen abdications, coronations, and even scandals. But rarely do we witness a moment so genuine, so stripped of formality. This could go down in the books as one of the most quietly powerful gestures in modern monarchy." Queen Mary has already begun carving her own legacy. With a strong emphasis on family, mental health, environmental causes, and gender equality, she's proven herself not just a ceremonial figure, but a working queen with vision. And now, With this emotional gesture, she's added something else, a deeply personal layer of leadership. She's showing Denmark, and the world, that strength isn't always loud. That royalty doesn't need to be cold. That queenship can be a matter of the heart as much as of duty. As the crowd applauded during the event, there was a sense that they were witnessing more than tradition. They were watching a transition steeped in love. They were seeing not just a moment, but a message. That behind the jewels and titles are human beings with real feelings. That power, at its best, is passed on not just through succession, but through affection, mentorship, and trust. This, royal watchers agree, is why Queen Mary's reign holds so much promise. And this gesture, it may have lasted only a few seconds, but it will be remembered for years to come. As Queen Mary continues to evolve in her role, we'll undoubtedly see many more state visits, speeches, ceremonies, and symbolic acts. But few will carry the weight and emotional resonance of this brief yet breathtaking interaction with Queen Margrethe. It wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic, it wasn't planned, but it was perfect. And now, a nation looks to its new queen, not just with hope, but with deep, renewed faith. Because if this is how her reign begins, rooted in love, empathy, and respect, then Denmark is in the safest hands possible. In the aftermath of that now iconic gesture, headlines across Denmark and beyond exploded with admiration. It wasn't just the Danish people who were emotionally moved. Royal commentators, historians, and even psychologists began dissecting the profound symbolism of that moment. Across Europe, news outlets replayed the footage again and again. British media hailed Queen Mary as the People's Queen of Denmark, while Australian networks, deeply proud of their native daughter, marveled at how a woman once living a quiet life in Hobart had now transformed into a monarch beloved by millions. CNN referred to it as one of the most humanizing royal moments caught on camera this decade. Even Japanese and Spanish news programs gave the moment airtime, underscoring the global impact of one very simple, very intimate moment between two queens. The reason it resonated so widely is clear. In a world increasingly tired of scripted perfection, there was something deeply reassuring about seeing two royal women embracing vulnerability, affection, and unity. To understand the full magnitude of this gesture, we must look back at Queen Mary's journey. Born Mary Elizabeth Donaldson in Tasmania, Australia, she had no noble title, no royal lineage, just a strong-willed spirit, an education in commerce and law, and a career in advertising. She met Crown Prince Frederik at a Sydney pub during the 2000 Olympics, an encounter that would change not just her life, but the course of Danish history. What followed was a fairy tale that quickly evolved into something much more real, much more powerful. Her transition from a private citizen to Crown Princess of Denmark was not instantaneous. It was a process marked by scrutiny, language barriers, intense royal protocol training, and life under the spotlight. Yet, with every public appearance, she carried herself with a dignity that earned respect across Europe. Queen Margrethe, known for her sharp wit and dedication to duty, was initially protective of her son and the institution. But over time, she saw in Mary a partner worthy of the crown. Not just for her son, but for the country. Mary took on Danish citizenship. She mastered the language. She immersed herself in cultural, social, and charitable work. From the Mary Foundation, created to fight domestic violence and social isolation, to her advocacy for women's rights, her work has been rooted in compassion. And with every passing year, she quietly reshaped what it means to be a modern royal woman. Meanwhile, Queen Margrethe II had ruled since 1972, taking the throne upon the death of her father, King Frederik IX. As Denmark's first female monarch in centuries, she blazed her own trail, one defined by intellect, creativity, and a near unparalleled sense of duty. Known affectionately as Daisy, Margrethe became a symbol of continuity and stability for Denmark during uncertain times. She oversaw dramatic changes in Europe, a growing monarchy in the media age, and adapted Denmark's royal family to modern expectations. Even in her final years as queen, she showed a tireless commitment to her people, often working through personal illness or political tension with unwavering composure. And so, when she made the unprecedented decision to abdicate, handing over the crown to her son, King Frederik X, it marked not just the end of a reign, but the closing of a historic chapter. What Queen Mary did on that emotional day was more than symbolic, it was a salute to that chapter. A bow, in spirit if not in posture, to the woman who had ruled with strength and passed the torch with dignity. Those close to the family say that this transition of power wasn't just about monarchy, it was about family. Queen Margrethe had reportedly prepared Queen Mary for years. She understood the weight of the role, the expectations, the cost. And she knew Mary could handle it, not just because of protocol training, but because of her empathy. Insiders note that Mary and Margrethe spent many private hours in discussion before the abdication. While the public only saw the ceremony, behind closed doors were meaningful conversations about legacy, values, and the emotional toll of queenship. This mutual understanding added yet another layer of depth to that public gesture. When Mary touched Margrethe's arm, it wasn't just a thank you. It was a promise to honor what had come before, to protect what was handed down, to build a future with the same love and resilience that had defined the past. Every detail of Mary's appearance that day was chosen with care. She wore a soft blue gown, a color historically associated with wisdom, stability, and serenity. Her brooch, a subtle heirloom passed down through the family, rested near her heart. Her makeup was minimal, her expression natural. Body language analysts noted how she leaned toward Queen Margrethe at key moments, always careful to keep eye contact, even in silence. These small cues, often overlooked, spoke volumes. Mary wasn't just standing next to a former queen. She was standing with her. When clips of the moment were uploaded to social media, the response was overwhelming. Millions watched on platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. The comments section filled with heart emojis, crying gifs, and heartfelt words. We need more leaders like this. Quiet, strong, and human. Long live Queen Mary. She's showing us what leadership with empathy looks like. Queen Margrethe's legacy is safe in Mary's hands. On the streets of Copenhagen, crowds applauded spontaneously. Some brought flowers to Amalienborg Palace the next day. The air was charged with a kind of peaceful electricity, a sense that something beautiful had just happened, something pure. This moment between Mary and Margrethe is already being studied as a turning point. We are entering a new phase, one where queens are no longer just symbols but storytellers. Leaders who express emotion, acknowledge legacy, and remain deeply connected to their people. For Queen Mary, this is the first of many moments where she will shape how history remembers her. And if this gesture is any indication, we're looking at a queen who will lead not just with grace, but with heart. She has already taken on her new responsibilities with full commitment. Early royal tours, speeches focused on inclusivity and mental health, and meetings with social workers and environmental leaders show she is not resting on ceremony. She is working, quietly, efficiently, and with genuine intent. And that gesture to Queen Margrethe, it will live on as the most perfect way to begin a reign, one rooted not in fanfare, but in feeling. What did Queen Mary's emotional gesture mean to you? Do you think this kind of vulnerability makes a monarch stronger in today's world, or is it too far from tradition? Let's talk in the comments below. And if this story touched your heart, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us keep bringing you the stories behind the crown, the truth, the emotion, and the history being made every single day.